Come see us doing live shows. We'll be in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com. I'm going to play you now 9 minutes straight. This is 9 minutes straight, and I'm going to try and play it without stopping. We'll see if I can do it. This is 9 minutes straight of your corporate news media, the news media that say there's too many lying on too much misinformation on social media. Oh my God, you can't. Oh, people think that Twitter's the news. They're not. We're the news. I'm going to show you 9 minutes of them misinforming you and lying to you about the Hunter Biden pardon. You ready? Let's enjoy it. Let's see if I can play it all the way through.
Presidential promise to put the law before family.
Yeah.
The president promised, I can't see, I have to stop it immediately. The president promised to put the law before his family. Watch, here he does it.
He said, I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Was asked directly, and he has said
that's exactly what he did.
Wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal, and he did that today.
It seems like a pretty normal, straightforward answer, but it takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial. We're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process, and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
They're protecting the justice system.
Destroy the justice system.
Yes, that's.
Oh my God, that makes me really. It's hard to watch.
That's that S.E. Cub. She's a real genius.
Current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon.
So much
his son.
respect.
I mean, what? Yeah. You know, again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides versus Donald Trump after he was convicted on 34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
Their latest attack has been that Joe Biden has politicized and weaponized the DOJ, right? That was the whole argument around Donald Trump's conviction. And this week, of course, Hunter Biden was found guilty. And Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son. He would not commute his sentence. How stark is this difference? I mean, how can Republicans keep making this argument now that Joe Biden has really put it out there? Where's Hunter? And he stood there in a courtroom, flanked by his family, and he's accepted his sentence.
He is not pardoning his son. Which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. Yeah. And if you want to know if he believes it, you could actually see what is happening with his own son.
The president, Anderson, has been really clear that he is going to accept the outcome of the trial no matter what happens.
So Joe Biden's gotten asked about, talking about law and order. He's gotten asked if he would pardon his son. He has said no. On the other side, you've got Donald Trump, who has said that he will pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Yeah. They're not even his sons. They're just sons of bitches.
Washington said, I am not running again because he understood the self-restraint was absolutely essential to this country so you don't have a king. He did not pardon his son. He did not order the Department of Justice to say, don't prosecute my son. So impressive.
Could have ordered the Justice Department to halt the prosecution of Hunter Biden, according to this court. Everyone understands he's a decent man.
I think Joe Biden has a chance here to stand up for the rule of law, to say the law is the law, no matter who it is, no matter if it's Trump or Biden. And remember, part of Trumpism's dangerousness is that it tears down institutions, important institutions of our democracy. So there is an opportunity here for Biden to say, the jury found him guilty. This is how it's supposed to work. Period, paragraph, end of story.
Have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
As I said last week, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. You know, the president said he won't touch it. He said he's not going to pardon his son. And it seems that Merrick Garland let it go through. How can the Justice Department be weaponized against Trump when all of that is happening?
Democrats stand for the rule of law. Remember, law and order. And we've been saying that Trump's not above the law.
Amazing.
Hunter Biden's not above the law. No one is above the law. And it is amazing to see the stark contrast.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know how I can do 9 minutes of this. I'm going to have to go pee. This is unbelievable. Like,
this is unbelievable.
I'm actually like, Trump better not make nice to these people. And he better do the horrible revenge that they're afraid of, because if he doesn't, there's no chance of anything. I don't have faith in him like that he's some savior, but he could take down these people. He would have that power, wouldn't he?
Won't touch it. He said he's not going to pardon his son. And it seems that Merrick Garland let it go through. How can the Justice Department be weaponized against Trump when all of that is happening?
Democrats stand for the rule of law. Remember, law and order. And we've been saying that Trump's not above the law. Hunter Biden's not above the law. No one is above the law. And it is amazing to see the stark contrast between how Democrats handled today and how Republicans handled this whole thing over the last couple of weeks.
For years, these conservatives have been crowing about a politicized Justice Department, Biden politicizing it, and so on. What happened today? The Justice Department convicted the president's own son, his only living son. You heard the president say he would accept the outcome of the case. I know no other word for that, but presidential.
Mm-hmm. He even went so far as to say he wouldn't pardon his son. That's how much respect he has for the system.
The president has said that he will not pardon his son. What did you think of that?
I thought it was extraordinary. I mean, it was a moment of just moral clarity on the part of Joe Biden, and couldn't have been in starker contrast.
More remarkable moral clarity
to the way Donald Trump has handled his own conviction.
He could still pardon him. He said he won't do that. All of that conduct, given that it's his son, is kind of, we should pause for a moment and think about how unbelievable that is. In a million years, if the shoe were on the other foot and Donald Trump was facing the prospect of his son being prosecuted by a Biden, me, if I had been held over, a Biden holdover or Obama holdover prosecutor, not in a million years would that have happened. So, some of the people on the right, the people who support Donald Trump, are trying to cast this as some clever ops program.
Yeah. Hunter Biden was found guilty by a jury of his peers, just like Donald Trump, because this is our justice system at work. The divide here is stunning, and it's a great reminder that one political party remains committed to the rule of law and the other doesn't.
Joe Biden has already proven he's willing to stand up for the rule of law in a way that we could all never imagine Donald Trump to do.
Pretty emphatic over the last few days that he does not plan to pardon or commute his son. What that really is him saying is, I don't plan to use the powers of the office, the powers of the presidency, to provide private relief for my family. In a sense, he's staking out a pretty bright line between being, as he says, a president and a dad. And that's not just an emotional expression. He's in effect saying, I don't think that I don't have a right, even if it's legal, and God knows it must be tempting to use this power in a way that is not available to so many other Americans facing similar kinds of struggles. There's a kind of old school sort of flinty core to his conception of how you are to be in the system, how you are to be as a person, a moral person, and ultimately how to contend with questions of power. One of the things that anybody who spends time around Joe Biden comes to know is that he's had this long-running focus on how much he is bothered by abuses of power.
Will accept the verdict no matter what it is, and that he has ruled out pardoning his own son. Contrast that from what we hear from Donald Trump. And again, we have to underline, in no uncertain terms, President Biden saying, I will accept the outcome. I will accept what the jury decides here. That's the way our legal system works. And no, I will not pardon my own son if he is convicted.
And the contrast is so clear in terms of decency and principle and transactional guidance in terms of how you view the world.
It is still a good day for the United States that this conviction is a prime example of the way our judicial system is supposed to work. Even President Biden saying in a statement that he would respect the outcome of this case. Those words so completely contrast with what his opponent, now a convicted felon himself, continues to say about the U.S. courts.
This is not like, does MSNBC have, the reporters sound like they're doing a commercial. Was this all the same day, by the way, this reporting?
Behaved, how Trump has treated the rule of law. This was a good day for the system. Good day for sort of America as an example of how the rule of law should work.
President Biden told David Muir that he would absolutely accept the verdict, whatever it was, and that he would not pardon his son, regardless. And today he said the same thing in a statement. Meanwhile, Donald Trump comes out and calls the justice system completely unfair. What do you think of that contrast?
There's the contrast of two different men.
Here is Joe Biden, who has lost a son who served honorably in the armed forces, who now has basically said, I will sacrifice my surviving son's future. I will allow him to serve a prison term if that's what's determined, because that is what the rule of law demands.
The president announces that he will not pardon his son. Do you think ordinary Americans give enough thought to how this system is a miracle, a gift to this country, a gift to democracy?
Joe Biden, without this was it's a multiple person. These charges in his case came about only after some of my political polls, so they can't go to. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out, and because he is one. So he didn't. He didn't trust the justice system. He didn't trust the jury. He didn't accept the jury. He didn't trust the justice system, just like Trump said. So isn't it weird that they're both saying the same thing, that the justice system is compromised?
Trump.
And it's funny. But Trump,
Jimmy.
But Trump.
So
Trump said that the cases against him were all political and they were ginned up. And that's exactly what and he is a creep for saying that. But Joe
Jimmy,
Biden's not.
Trump is going to track our periods so that we can't trans our kids. Trump, Jimmy, you're forgetting, I think, the most important thing here, Trump.
Trump.
Quite a contrast between Trumpism. Boy, watching how they sold that as it was like the greatest day in the history of America, that Joe Biden isn't going to pardon his son. Because, by the way, the verdict came in, but a sentencing hadn't happened, so who gives a shit? I bet his son got life in prison, he'd say fucking pardon, Trump or no Trump.
Well, he did say he didn't even get life in prison, and he said pardon him. He said pardon him.
What a crock of shit. Hunter was already convicted before Trump got back, and you thought you were going to win. So there's really, you can't even use Trump as an excuse.
I'll just never get over the disconnect between reality and what liberals say is the reality.
Well, on TV, and then people that watch TV, it's called fucking MK Ultra. It never stopped, and we're looking at it every day. Every single day we look at it. Everybody's mystified. How can they say this thing that's not true? And everybody parrots the same phrase. This is a great day for rule of law. This is a day of institute. They say the same hypnotic phrase all day. The only reason I ever see these news channels is because I'm on here, or if I'm stuck in an airport and it's on. And then when you notice that they're repeating the same phrases, none of that is news. It's all like an opinion piece, like plug in Biden's next candidacy. It's actually pretty hilarious now that I'm watching it.
Come see us doing live shows. We'll be in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com.